Welcome, and in this tutorial video, that is Introduction to Adobe InDesign, we will be learning how to start up your Adobe InDesign, and along with that we'll also learn the screen layout and the interface of the Adobe InDesign. So if you're starting to learn multimedia and graphic designing, Adobe InDesign is a suggested software to start up with those graphic designing and multimedia. So let's see how we can start up this Adobe InDesign. So in your Windows, you can go to Start and search for InDesign, and then you can click on this area and start your Adobe InDesign. And I'm using the Adobe InDesign 2020. So if you're using a different version, it will also be same on how to start it. So this is one of the way that you can start your Adobe InDesign by just searching on the search box in your Windows. And another way is to open the Run and type InDesign in there. And if you hit enter, our InDesign will be opened. So when you open that, you'll be given two options, that is to create a new document or open the project that you have been doing. So since we're going to start a new project, I'm going to start with create, and for that also you can go to file, new, and then you can also create a new document from here itself also. So I'm going to be using this one for now. Click on that and you'll be given different options of what kind of document you're going to be using. So recently this is what we have used, that is A4 size paper, and saved is the one which you have saved a preset of your document. That is you have mentioned your own height and width, and then you have saved here. And in the print we have the paper sizes that we usually use for printing, and this one is for the web purposes, that is the website purposes, and some sizes will be available here if you're going to use that design for your website and for mobile devices also. These are some of the document sizes which fits your mobile phones. So for now I'm going to go to print, and I'll be using A4 size paper, and I'll be using the default orientation, and click on create. And here we have a new document, and in this new document you can see that the margins has already been created. In case if you want a margin a bit lesser than that, then you can close this once for now, and you can click on create new again. Here we have been given a default recent one, that is the same A4 size paper, but I will go to print again and select A4 size paper. But since we're going to change the margin, so I will expand this margin, and in here all the parts of the margins, that is top, bottom, inside and outside, are being given, that is 12.7 mm. Since we're going to reduce it, so let's say I'm going to make it 8. And if you want to change all this area, that is all the parts of the margin, then so for that I will click here, and you can see that it says make all settings the same. So if you click there, all the margins will be made the same, that is 8 mm. So now I can click on create, and you can see that the margins have been reduced. So now let's see the screen layout and the interface of this Adobe InDesign. So in InDesign we usually have the toolbox on the left side and the properties panel on the right side. Some of the other InDesign versions, the properties panel will be somewhere on the top area of your screen, that is just below your menu. So we have the menu, the toolbox, and properties panel, which are mostly used when you work in Adobe InDesign. So on the toolbox we have some of the tools that we'll be working on, and each tool has some purposes, and also each tool has a shortcut. If I go near it, it says that the shortcut is either V or escape key. So you can also check them one by one. If you just hover near that tool, you can see that the shortcut is also given just next to its own name. And here these two are for the fill color as well as the stroke color. We'll understand that more when we work more in our Adobe InDesign. And on the right side we have the properties. So if we work something in our document, in the properties panel it will be reflected. So if we do the changes here, it will also be affected in our objects that is inside our document. So before you do anything on the menu, we have the window here, so you can check it out. And this window helps you to turn on the panels one by one. And as you can see, we have already turned on some of the panels, that is the properties and the tools. So that is the tools on here and properties here. Now while you're working in documents or any other work in Adobe InDesign, if you want to check the preview of that work and you don't want the disturbances of the properties and the toolbox, for that you can press Tab key and then all this will be gone. You can press that Tab key again to bring them back. And if I draw anything here, you can see that the properties panel is also being affected, where you can change your fill color as well as the color of the stroke, and some of the properties relevant to this object will also come out, which we will discuss one by one in some of our next tutorial videos. And for your information, Adobe InDesign is a desktop publishing software and it can be used to create works such as posters, flyers, brochures, magazines, newspapers, and our normal books as well as ebooks also. And usually when we work in Adobe InDesign, we need the help of the pages also. In my case, the pages is just next to the properties, where I can create new pages and manage the pages. But in case this pages panel is not there in your version, for that you'll have to go to Window and turn on the pages from this area. For me, it is already turned on, so you can see that one tick mark is being given. That means the pages panel is being turned on. And the shortcut is also given as F12. So if you press F12 in your keyboard, you can turn on the pages panel. Now another thing that you have to remember while you're working with an artwork or any other documents in this software, that is Adobe InDesign, sometimes you might want to check the preview of your whole part of your document, because sometimes we'll be working outside our document and we'll be placing those works inside our documents one by one. So for that you can use the shortcut, that is Shift and W, so that you can check the whole part of the preview of your document. And to go back to your normal editing part, you can press Escape key in your keyboard. And in the next tutorial we'll be talking about the toolbox, and in the toolbox we'll be learning the most important tools that we usually use in our Adobe InDesign.